Oh, Keith, how you feeling? You full?
I feel good, man.
Yeah.
Nice to feel refreshed, replenished. I'm gonna be hanging out and then getting my late night cardio in, a little bit more strength work too, and then we'll be calling it a night. You know, life of the champ. Got to put in these 2 a days.
Life of the champ. By the way, you guys, he did kill that entire salad.
Killed it.
Yo, I wanted to ask you about Danny real quick, just because we were talking off the record about Shawn Porter, the fight and everything, and one of the things you mentioned, and I believe you even mentioned it leading up to that fight, was you talked about Shawn's conditioning, and you knew that his conditioning was going to be out of this world. I mean, even going into the fight, you probably assumed that he was going to be better conditioned than you. Is there anything that Danny does well that you kind of know, okay, I'm going to have to, because, you know, everybody talks about his timing and things like that. Is there anything specifically that, you know, you think that he does well that you got to be careful of?
You talk about his timing, and if his timing is well, it shouldn't take a long time for me to figure that one out. I'll know. I'll be getting hit with some things. You know, I don't feel like he was able to time Guerrero well at the start of the fight, but when Guerrero slowed down, then he was able to time him. So I think that he does have to adjust, but when he adjusts, that's when his timing is more on point. But the thing about the beauty of a fight is that when someone makes an adjustment and now they are used to what you're doing, do you make the adjustment to prevent that adjustment that they just made? You know what I'm saying? So back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You know, with Shawn, you know, I knew he was going to be in better shape than me because I was injured. He wasn't injured. You know? I literally, when postponing the fight, I no longer could come to the gym and jump rope. I couldn't shadow box. I couldn't do road work. Okay. I went from training camp to what I titled recovery camp. Back into training camp. There was no camp in recovery camp. Okay, it's its own type of camp. Recovery. Okay, I'm seeing acupuncturists. I'm seeing chiropractics. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my hyperbaric chamber. You know, and I'm just getting treatment, what I need for my body to put me back into a position to where now I can start training again. We're just talking about start training again, okay? Shawn been training. The day the fight was supposed to happen, he put on a 12-round exhibition. I was still getting seen by my chiropractor, okay? Sitting on my butt, not able to burn calories.
Was it the neck? Was it the back? Was it a combination of the two?
It was the real pain that made me realize that I need to really get this looked at was my neck. And then really what happens is sometimes with car accidents, you feel okay a day or two after, and then slowly your body starts telling you like, hey, we're not okay, you know? And that's what it was. I was diagnosed by 2 doctors. I saw 2 specialists, got 2 of the same results. You have whiplash. Okay, it's gonna take 6 to 8 weeks to recover, you know? And then from there, you should be able to start your camp. You just gotta do this therapy, and then, you know, and continue it too throughout your camp to a degree, and you should be strong enough, and your neck should be able to take a blow. My neck could not take jump rope, okay? Could not stay bouncing up and down. How do you think it's gonna feel if someone tries to hit me with 8-ounce gloves?
Can you is there a way you can describe what that pain felt like? And I'm only asking because I don't think people really know. I actually had back surgery last month for a herniated disc, and it's the most excruciating pain I've ever felt, because when, you know, your back, your spine is connected to all the nerves in your body. And when I say all the nerves, I'm talking from head to toe.
Head to toe, yes.
Right.
So eventually I started noticing the pain in my lower back, and I would wake up and like I would just bitch about it. I'd bitch about it.
Was it like a stiffness?
There was stiffness in my neck, and we were able to work that out with massage and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I had to treat it, you know, real nice and easy. You know, there was a time where this was my range of motion, and I was happy because there was a time where I barely had range of motion, and then finally I could do this, and then we worked it up to be able to do this again. I couldn't simply do this on my own. I couldn't do this, not without true pain. You know, so it's a little hard to describe because it's in the past now. You know what I mean? It'd be easier if you were interviewing me while I was going through it.
In the moment,
In the moment of everything. But I do remember the lower back just being like pinching and sometimes throbbing.
Yep.
And I mean, you almost don't want to sit down. You don't want to stand up. Like it's just you
can't even find a comfortable position.
You really can't find a comfortable position. So, you know, I knew that Shawn's conditioning was going to be superior to mine, and that I'm conditioned for the fight. I got the 12 rounds in me, but my 12 rounds is my 12 rounds, his 12 rounds is his 12 rounds. I'm simply going to have to box smart and win these rounds, you know, and that's why I always go back in my head when Ben Getty used to say, smart fighters win, dumb fighters lose. It's not just about being, strength and conditioning is very important, right? But you can have somebody who's well conditioned, very strong, but when they don't know how to box smart, a smart fighter can outclass them. You know, so that's where my confidence came from, is that I know Shawn Porter as a fighter. His confidence came from knowing me, but when we had him on the camp, we felt like we were always getting just a little bit better than him, doing a little bit better than him. Each and every day, no matter what, we did a little bit better in sparring than he did. I managed the 3-minute intervals better. And I said, all you got to do is do that again. You know, under the bright lights, with small gloves. You're going to hit them, you're going to hurt them. And for some reason, I think maybe because of the way camp was done and things of that nature, when I rocked him, I just wasn't in kill mode. There was just something. It was actually the first time in my life I actually felt a minute amount of possible ring rust, where I've normally, no matter what kind of layoff I've taken, but I think it had to do with the injury a little bit and stuff, that because sparring we were being a little fragile. You know what I mean? We weren't pushing sparring to the extreme, you know, just to preserve, just so that nothing can happen in the camp, so that we can get through the fight. And you know, it was a very close fight. I knew sitting down in the 8th round, I felt like the fight was tied. I saw the recap with Showtime. You got to see the judges' scorecards. I paused it. 8th round, unanimous. All 3 judges had it as a draw. So when I was...
Is that how you had it when you watched it back? Did you have it as a draw, or did you feel like...
I had it as a draw in the moment of the fight.
Okay.
When I'm sitting down at the end of 8, I knew I won the 8th round, and I knew that there was a moment where I felt ahead, and then I felt like maybe it was slipping away, and I told myself, you got to put yourself back in the fight, you got to win the 8th round. I won the 8th round, and then I started calculating how many rounds do I think I really won, and I'm like, man, I'm pretty sure this is a draw. Pretty sure this is just a draw. And not only was it a draw, it was a unanimous draw looking back at the scorecards. So the funny thing is, I was sitting in the chair, Dan's coaching me, I'm listening to him, I'm going through my own thoughts, and I say to myself, well, that was a fun 8 rounds, and because it's a draw, welcome to a 4-round fight. Okay?
Right.
You used to do this in the amateurs.
True.
Okay? You are in a 4-round fight. 8 rounds, don't matter, because no one's winning. You're in a 4-round fight. Win these 4 rounds, go home champion. And I said, worst case scenario, Keith, he's not walking out with your belt today. You have the skills to force a draw before you lose this title of yours. But nobody came to Brooklyn to watch you get a draw with Shawn Porter. Box smart. Do what you need to do. Stay off the ropes. Don't let him get that credit. The final 4 rounds is going to determine this fight, and that's where the fight was won. For anybody who wants to go back and watch the recap, I'm pretty sure that you'll see it was the final 4 rounds, which is why I remain champion that night. So, I mean, Shawn put up a great effort, but people don't understand my level of focus in that ring. And I am focused from the first bell to the last bell. I'm always in the fight. You know, I come to win. And that's why I say I'm not afraid to let it go. If you can beat me because you deserve it. Because I always put up my best effort.
Do you feel like you get the credit that you deserve for that? I mean, it seems like throughout your entire career, there's always been a knock. When you first came on the scene, oh, he's just a puncher. He's just a puncher. He's one-dimensional. He can't box. Then when you started boxing, you know, then it's, oh, well, you can't take it to the body. You know, it's like they're always trying to knock what you've done instead of praising the performance, like the Shawn Porter performance. I mean, that was a great fight, a fight that you took it to the next level in the last 4 rounds to close the show. And it's almost like you're not getting the credit that you deserve as a champion. Do you kind of sense that going on, or do you feel okay with credit?
Whatever, you know, people are entitled to their own opinions, you know. I'm still undefeated. I'm doing my job every time. I do know that it wasn't my greatest performance, you know. I heard a comment from Mayweather about it, and I gotta respect his insight on it. You know, he felt that Kell Brook did better against Shawn Porter than me. And I don't know fully what the scorecards was at the end of the day, but I'd say that possibly Kell did win by a greater margin than 2 rounds, you know. So if that's the case, it's a true statement. I'm not going to deny true statements, but what was I going through before the fight? I was going through an injury, you know, and I didn't pull out of the fight and take a tune-up after rehab. I took the fight after rehab. And we fought a tremendous athlete, somebody who knows me well and was prepared for me. But one thing that, even though we knew each other pretty well, we've never been in the ring more than 5 rounds with one another. So due to that, he's never seen what it's like when it's no longer just about skills, but the will to win kicks in. And he saw that night. And that's why, even though he was disappointed with the judge's decision, because he felt like he did a lot, because he fought hard, he felt like he did a lot. He did say that, you know, to me, that he gives me props because the champion in me came out. So he's acknowledging that there was a side of me that he ain't never seen before. And it's the simple fact that I'm not letting you walk away with this belt. You're one hell of an opponent, but you do not get to put up your best effort and get me to fold. We don't fold. We stay in the game all the way through, you know. So it just is what it is.